All right. Hello.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
So if you've tuned in early, you are listening to the Intimacy Chronicles. I am the host and creator, Queen Jackie, and we will actually have a special guest tonight. Arthur Dumisani Solwazi. Did I say it right?
Yeah.
Solwazi. Okay. Yeah. Listen, I've been practicing that. Okay.
It usually take them about 3 times. Usually I take them out to dinner first, and then they and
then we get the name
then
right. Like,
name.
And that's kind of sexy.
It's Dumisani.
Okay.
Yeah. It take them a minute. Yeah. $150 dinner. Usually get that vocabulary in order.
Okay. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All right. The intro was hot.
Oh yeah.
So I got a request. Erotic, taboo, sensual touch. Erotic, taboo, sensual touch. Touch me, kiss me, squeeze me. 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 Erotic, taboo, sensual touch. Erotic, taboo, sensual touch. Erotic, taboo, sensual touch. Erotic, taboo, sensual touch. All right, everyone. Hello to my Facebookers, Instagrammers, YouTubers. Thank you for tuning in to the Intimacy Chronicles. We're going to have a fun night. My 2 co-hosts are out today. So I have the pleasure of having Dumisani Solwazi all to myself tonight.
Absolutely. You got me all to yourself. Just me and you.
Just him and I, and we got the romantic lights.
I mean,
flowing.
She got the lights down up in here. We got he got the R&B in the background.
Oh yeah, it's going down tonight. Our topic is going to be life lessons, lessons learned. That could be anything, regarding relationships.
Absolutely.
Jobs, upbringing.
Fatherhood.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.
So we're just gonna get naked with it tonight. It's always a good time here. We leave no stone unturned, and the beautiful thing is you're gonna get real information.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
I'm about as vulnerable as they come.
I don't sugarcoat anything. We have a call already? No. Okay, yeah. Oh, by the way, because I always seem to get engrossed and I don't give the call-in number. So if you want to call in and be a part of the show or give your comment,
absolutely.
The call-in number is 855-493-6499. So definitely give us a call. And we're just going to go ahead and get the show started. So
let's hop into it.
As I mentioned, I have Arthur Dumisani Solwazi. He has a book out called 40 Lessons.
Absolutely.
And we're going to dive right into these 40 lessons. He's going to let you know where you can purchase the book and the reason, the motivation behind the book. And let's do it. So...
Yeah, man, I appreciate you having me on tonight. I mean, this is my first radio broadcast. So, I mean, I feel like I'm important people all of a sudden, sitting with the Queen, Miss Jackie. I'm actually an author, life coach, also a podcast host myself, along with being a, father, man of God and all those good things as well. Just trying to be a black man out here doing something positive for real.
All right.
Absolutely, yeah.
So since we're diving right in, 40 lessons.
Absolutely.
What was the motivation? What was your turning point that made you say, okay, let me put my wisdom to print?
Well, let me put my failures to print. Wasn't wisdom. Third divorce.
Okay.
Kind of got things in perspective. I wrote that book on my 40th birthday.
Okay.
I released the book on my 40th birthday. So I wrote the book coming up on my 40th birthday. And the piece was supposed to be something totally different.
Okay.
But at the time, I was going to just, write something real fun, something chill, talked about the, highlights of my life that I enjoyed. And then God had a different plan for that. So
it happens.
I went through, that last one was crucial. The last divorce was crucial. And that one put some things in perspective for me.
Okay.
Like literally put me in solitude for a while, had me just to myself. I wasn't really doing anything that was within my personality of how people would know me. And I just buried my head in my laptop and let them emotions, come out of me and end up on pages within that book.
Okay.
What you got there is about 136 pages of a man bearing his soul. I don't blame nobody for anything in that book.
That's cool.
I don't point the finger at nobody but myself for 40 chapters.
Ownership.
Yeah. Because you can't fix it if you don't own it.
Yeah, man. Talk about it.
You can't fix it if you don't own it. We can slip through this life and we can easily slip through this life and kind of, say, well, it was because of him or it was because of her.
Which
or
happens.
They did this and they did that. But man, when you take that moment and you sit back and you just kind of put that mirror on you and you don't leave that mirror for a little bit.
Talk about it.
And that ugly get to rise to the top.
Talk about it.
And you really get into an analyzation of your soul.
Oh, yeah.
And then God starts to reveal some things to you because he see you in a receiving place for the first time. And that stuff, man, just comes to hit you and you finally look and go, wow, I was messing up.
Right. And I think a lot of times when you're on the inside, you don't see it. Because I think, you don't want to see it. Let me say that because we are aware of some of the things that we do, but I think it takes us a while to get to a point where we want to own our shit. You know what I mean? Like it's easier to blame the other party.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, because, the other party has kind of been an enabler for a while, right?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you can hide in their imperfections.
Right.
And then you can say, well, my imperfections ain't your imperfections, right? So you can play that game. We play that game sometimes. I don't know where that gets us, but we play that game anyway.
We play it, and it doesn't really get us far, and it creates more tension in the relationship.
Well, that and then somebody just gets tired of playing the game with you, right?
Right.
And then they just say, look, I'm good.
Yeah.
You go ahead and do that. You live in this make-believe world you in. I'm going to move on about my business.
Exactly.
And that's basically what a young lady ended up doing. She moved on about her business.
Okay.
When you're sitting in marriage counseling trying to keep your marriage together and you hear the woman across from you say, I have no more desire for him to be my husband.
That's hard.
Not I don't want to be married. Not that I don't love him no more. Not that I don't like him no more. I don't have no desire.
Right.
That means nothing exists.
Right.
That means everything that was about you within her has left. That's a hard one to swallow.
It is. It's so many feelings. Rejection.
Oh man, your
ego is bruised, and it doesn't matter male or female. It's like what?
We talked about that on episode 2 came out today. Shameless plug. I'm sorry. 40 Lesson Podcast. You can find that on YouTube, SoundCloud, Spotify. But episode 2 came out today, and we talk about acceptance. Me and my co-host, Miss Tori Strickland, we was talking about that very thing, how your ego need to be assassinated.
Of course.
And it's a moment like that'll clearly put your ego in a humble state of being, to where if you don't assassinate it, it's gonna kill itself. One or the other. Because it's hard to have an ego in that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Nothing left. I mean, you've been stripped.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So coming from that place, after hearing that, how long did it take you to, I guess, do a self-check and start to work on some things about you.
So the book was a self-check.
Mm-hmm.
As you put those things on the pages. And I stayed in counseling. I stayed in therapy. I was probably in therapy, probably the following year.
Okay.
Just for me, because I needed to kind of reevaluate who I was. I'm constantly challenging men now, right?
Yeah.
So it's kind of like, I always tell guys like, we run around here talking about how much, how much man we are. And we all have this different, ideas of what manhood may be, right? And so I say that in this moment, I actually found what being a man was all about. And, being a man is owning your emotions, being responsible with your emotions, being able to properly explain and communicate your emotions, understanding that having emotions don't make you weak. And really understanding that, with a lot of women, they are looking for us to make them safe with what we say more so than what we are doing. Because if your words are the proper words and they coming from the proper place, I can affirm you, I can reassure you, I can secure you in more ways than a lot of other things that material could ever provide. But a lot of us don't tap into that place that God ain't hiding from us. We just refuse to go there because we've let society tell us what a man is and how to define man, and we watched all these action movies and we think tearing this up or how many women you got and all those things make you manly, and we just don't realize what we're losing in that moment.
So one of the things that you said, and as women, we do want to feel secure and safe. But I also think it's a give and take, because men are looking for safety too.
They are.
Especially in terms of emotional support. And as women, we sort of make it about us often and what we need. But you have to give a little too. Just because he's a man, it doesn't mean that he doesn't feel vulnerable and don't need that. Yeah, they're strong, but they need to know that they have that support from the women.
I won't even put that one on women, Queen Jackie. Let me say this. I know I've fought women left and I have pushed women back who were dying for me to let them in. They was like, what is the issue? I'm trying to be everything you want me to be. And for some odd reason, some of us will have those emotions and we'll think about being safe, right?
Right.
We'll think about, opening up a little bit. Then we'll go right to the edge and we'll run away from it. We'll be like, nah, I'm good. I ain't gonna do that. So then instead of us becoming safe and vulnerable with her and letting her into those places that we haven't let nobody in,
right,
we run away from the relationship. We call it quits.
Now, is that because of a trust issue or just you are not willing to be vulnerable?
It's an immature issue.
Okay.
It ain't even about trust. It's just about us not even understanding that the promised land we looking for is on the other side of them emotions.
Wow.
But them emotions seem to put you in such a vulnerable state.
Right.
You like, man, am I really about to risk it all for her?
Yeah.
And so now you start finding all these little things that's wrong with her that really ain't wrong with her. Just, you making this, a lot of it, you making it up.
Because you don't want to submit.
Because you don't want to submit and do the work.
And you know what I call that?
What's that?
The side piece challenge.
But you know what though? Real talk. That's when the side piece show up in most cases, right?
Yeah. And they start doing the things that your woman ain't doing.
Well, not doing the things that my woman ain't doing. She don't require the things of me that my woman requires of me, right?
Right.
See yeah. The side piece. The side piece is easy. She ain't asking for nothing.
Right, but that's easy.
Exactly.
It's easy. So, do you want easy or do you want to build?
Well, that all depends, right? So, it ain't about him not wanting to build. I just don't want to build with expectations. I don't want you to have.
I like that.
I don't want you to have requirements of me. See, you asking me to not only perform, but now you want to evaluate my results, and I'm not really interested in you criticizing me and things of that nature. I don't want to get constructive criticism from you.
Okay.
I don't want you to help me to be the best portion of me that I can.
Right.
That's not what I'm looking for. See, the side piece won't ask me any of those questions. She gonna get in the car. She gonna go get her Red Lobster. She gonna do what she came to do.
You giving a side piece Red Lobster?
I mean,
Stop.
Wait a minute. Let me ask a question. Okay, you're giving the side piece everything that she wants, and so after some time, she's gonna want more,
and she can go. I mean, listen.
But I mean, that's the reality of it.
But it is the reality of it. But listen, if in most cases he's not gonna lock in to the side piece at all, she's a distraction.
Yeah.
She's a distraction from what he's running from at home.
I get that, but as women, after a couple of times of being with someone, even though we know our role, it doesn't mean feelings won't kick in.
Yeah, but now you asking a man to take accountability for something that a woman should be taking accountability for.
I completely agree.
Because
however,
you keep showing up. You keep showing up for the date. You keep getting in the car. You keep spending the nights.
Because I don't have anyone else.
Well, you do have someone else.
I mean, I'm just saying. I mean, right, and that's true. But I mean, how many of us are like actually taking a look at ourselves like that? We're just going along because it's somebody to spend time with, and that maybe, just maybe, after one of these dates, you realize you have something special in me. We know that might not be the case, but for us, a lot of times, it's always the end game.
And what's the end game? If you came into the game as a temporary player, how do you
know all of that?
What makes you think you're gonna get signed?
We know all of that, but we're in our minds, and I'm not saying all women, but in our minds, what we're thinking is, okay, this is date number 5.
Okay.
So we might be working on something, even though you establish ground rules in the beginning. But some of y'all men don't establish ground rules. Let's talk about that too. But even though you
those are universal ground rules.
I know, but
if you're a side piece, you know why you here. Ain't no ground rules to this.
So are you saying that side pieces have never went to the next level?
I'm not saying that. There have been exceptions to the rule.
And that's what that woman is looking
side
at.
Pieces possibilities.
That's what they're looking at.
Okay, but if we had the time and we went through a couple of side pieces who have graduated and became wife, they were some major players. That wasn't no chump change. And they played a long game in a much bigger game of millionaires and billionaires. And see, you got to understand what it is you walking into, right?
Yeah.
First of all, I want, do what you do. I'm not here to judge you. That's not what I'm doing. All I'm saying is that, you got to be reasonable with the situations that you're involved in. You don't need no manual on what it is. If he introduces himself, he tell you his situation, and you still rolling with the situation. Well, you've accepted all responsibility of what may happen after that. That's not on that man at that point. Those are two consenting adults engaging in a situation in which one or both of them are hoping they have the emotional maturity to handle.
And how often does that happen? Because I'm going to say a lot of times we don't understand the rules of engagement.
No. Oh, why you don't understand the rules of engagement?
Because women, a lot of times we're emotional creatures. So while we may agree to what you propose, after that third or fourth time of us maybe being intimate, in our minds, things have changed.
Are you
and
a
I'm
hostage?
not saying that happens for everyone, but some people are more emotional than others.
Okay.
So with that being said, what you presented in the beginning has gone out the window because we're on date number 5.
No, it ain't.
But from a woman's perspective, it does change.
Says who?
Says that woman after she's
and explain the communication to me that
3 times. You may have said everything, made your presentation, and we went along with it, but we haven't been on a date in years.
Okay.
So and
the
while
date is
it
just
might
him
not
stopping
be
by?
your problem, ultimately, after spending a lot of time together,
we've merged into a relationship.
And
First of all,
I'm just putting it out there.
well, let's address that.
Yeah.
First of all, if you over 30, let me
Ooh,
help.
it's hot up in here.
No, it ain't hot. Let me clear something up for people real quick. Let me slide into life coach mode real quick. So if you over 30, you can't merge into no relationship.
I know that.
I need you to act like the adult you are and have a conversation and ask questions. Questions that might give you answers that could or may not hurt your feelings. But the truth will do one or two things. Either it's going to make you happy or it's going to set you free.
Yeah.
Now, when you ask these questions, you need to ask the questions about the things you want to know. You need to ask directly who you are in his or her life. You need to ask directly, what is the terms, the rules of engagement of this relationship? If you're trying to be exclusive, you need to use that word.
Right.
And then it need to be defined what exclusive is. I mean, whatever your situation is, if it's poly, if it's whatever, you need to talk about what your boundaries are.
Right.
If you haven't had that conversation, then you can't merge into some type of adult situation or relationship. This is not something that happens by some type of magic fairy that drops dust in the sky and all of a sudden you my wife. That ain't how that works. A man gets on his knees and he asks intentions and tell you what he wants to do with you. Real easy, women. If he wants you to be with him, he gonna say that.
Now listen, this is a comment from a guy. He says, and this is E double, he says, after 3 times a woman is no longer a side piece. Y'all in a relationship. Now let's talk about that.
Well, I ain't here to tell you. Listen,
no, but
much love to my man.
Hold on. I got something for EW.
Okay, say it.
Yeah.
That's what EW get.
Hey, listen. Dates don't. The number of dates have nothing to do with the status of a relationship. I'm sorry. People date, and a lot of people date depending on their experience. So depending on what you've been through, whether you've been married, whether you've been divorced, how you've been disappointed in the past, all those things are going to set the criteria for how your dating process may go. Right. And what people need to understand is that the dating process is individualized to those two people. And those two people should have a conversation about what that dating process looks like. And nobody is a hostage in the dating process. At any point you want to go or it's not working for you, then go. It's okay.
Right. I get, wait a minute. And I get exactly what you're saying. But in reality, how often does that happen? I mean, I know that when you're dating someone that you can't make it what it isn't. I know that. But there are many out there with a different mindset. They want to try to mold you because you have sex with somebody doesn't mean that's a relationship. But yet I find that a lot of people want to try to build something on just sex. It just doesn't happen.
So listen, sex is a capstone to what, for those who have been to college, sex is the capstone course when you've done all the prerequisite work, got all the emotions in order, you've had the communication, talked about each other's histories, knows each other's backgrounds, personalities, likes, dislikes, and things like that, because the sex ain't gonna be what it's supposed, the intimacy in sex ain't gonna be what it's supposed to be if those things ain't in order anyway. All that other stuff, if you're doing sex before that, you just humping. That's cool.
That's it.
And that's cool.
Yeah,
if that's your thing.
If that's what.
But if you want something meaningful, if you want something with an explosion to it, if you want something that is really going to be an experience for you and your partner, then you need to do the work up front as y'all are talking about being exclusive and spending life together and things of that nature. So when you do have that intensive fellowship, as we like to call it, that fellowship comes with all the worship that it should have included into it, because all the right pieces have been put in place.
Absolutely. You've had a conversation. And I talk about this a lot because a lot of times when you enter into relationships, I don't know. I guess people may be so caught up in the feel good side that they're not having important conversations. You need to know if you all are on the same page financially, because if you're not,
that's going to be a problem.
It's going to be a big problem.
It's going to be a huge problem.
A lot of people, even in today's society, are still not having these conversations.
Listen, I'm 41. If you plus 40 And you ain't talking about stuff like what's your credit score,
Absolutely.
I'm mad.
how you wanna
Wait a minute.
how you wanna split, how will we manage
Still,
how will we manage our finances in the house?
Mhm.
At 40, you might have older parents.
Yeah.
What happened if my mama gets sick or your daddy gets sick? Who gonna are we cool with our parents living with us?
Right.
If we've had previous lives and you got children and I got children, then what's the management of that? Are those kids getting higher education, or are we okay with our adult children living in our
Great
home?
questions.
I mean, these are things you should talk about. You
Yeah,
know,
absolutely.
their careers. You know,
Mhm.
where is your career at? What's the trajectory of this carear?
Right.
How do you feel if I decide one day I want to live out the country? Is that something that's on your list? I mean, because listen, at
hey,
40,
it's real.
at
It's
40
real,
you
yeah,
about
especially
20.
now.
At 40,
20
you about
years from
20 to
retirement.
25 years from
Right.
retirement. That
Right.
time will go like that.
Exactly.
And if you ain't had those conversations, you mess around wasting 15 years with somebody. He packing up the house, getting ready to go, and you looking at him like, where you going?
right.
He be like, I told you I wasn't gonna live here all the rest of my life. I'm about
I
to
gotta
go.
go.
But a lot of times when we hear things like that example, okay, I told you I'm going to be ready to go in 15 years. Sometimes that other party, they hear it, but
But they
throw it.
don't hear.
Exactly.
Mhm.
And so when that time comes, you're like a deer caught in a headlight, like, what the heck is going on? So what happens then? Does he stay or does she stay and say, okay, well, we can wait another couple of years before I move out the country? Is there a compromise? What should happen? Or is the relationship over because the other party decides that's not a move I'm willing to make, even though
That all depends
you
on how bad.
presented that?
That all depends on how bad the other party want it.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, some people set their mind. You know, matter of fact, I was in Belize in February
Mhm.
talking to a guy at the bar, American guy who had moved over to Belize.
Okay.
And you know, I was like, "You married? Moved over here?" He's like, "Oh no, I'm divorced." I said, "Oh," I said, "So you moved here after you got divorced?" He said, "Well, my wife didn't want to go, so I left her half of the house and I went on about my business." You walked away from a marriage, Slim, because you wanted to live in another country that bad? Absolutely. That was his answer. He was like,
yeah.
for him, it was a no-brainer. He was like, I was
Right,
done. I'm
right.
leaving.
I see
I've
that.
worked. He said, I've done my time in America.
Mhm.
I've worked he said he worked 35, 40 years. He was like, I wanted to spend the rest of my days waking up looking at this scenery.
Yeah.
That wasn't what she
Yeah.
wanted to do, so I left her where she wanted to be. I said, wow. And some people would do that.
Right. And he probably has peace of mind. I mean,
Absolutely.
it was probably bittersweet.
And let's
but
not even get into a man's peace.
Yeah. Yeah. So E double says most don't have these conversations, and it's true. And I believe that's why the divorce rate is high, because there are certain conversations that you need to have in a relationship that you're not having.
Mhm.
And then when you hit that roadblock, you say, we didn't talk about this, or
Mhm.
you can't come to a resolution
Mhm.
because some of it is ego.
Right.
Some of it is just not being able to evolve in the relationship.
And you know, that evolvement in the relationship all goes back to that beginning conversation.
Absolutely.
See, people need to find out what how compatible they are up front.
Yeah.
Because, you know, I tell dudes all the time, you know, I was counseling a couple, and one of the things I said to him, I said, you know, she young now. She's, you know, early 30s.
Mhm.
I said, but she ain't gonna be the same woman she is today at 40. I said, and if you're not studying her, if you're not, you know, keeping a good intimacy relationship with her, and I ain't talking about sex, I'm talking about just being intimate with how she thinks, intimate with what she wants, intimate with what's her hopes, intimate with what's her dreams, intimate with what's her thoughts for the plan, for the family. If y'all are not having these conversations constantly, she gonna look crazy to you in 10 years.
Absolutely.
You're gonna think she losing her mind, and all she has done is stepped into the evolution of the woman that she is.
Right.
So, you know, people have to start to understand that we don't stay the same. I'm not the same man at 41 that I was at 31. And I pray to God I'm not the same man at 50 that I am today. I would hope some evolution, some wisdom. I hope I get better at what it is I'm trying to do in my life. And if I'm gonna be with somebody, then they have to do the same.
Absolutely.
That's what makes you eventually, you know, people walk out the door because they look around and they're like, man, am I the only one here growing?
Yeah. And I think when you get to that point, it can be frustrating for you because you just ask the question, am I the only one growing? So if the other party isn't even willing to evolve or just don't know how, what do? You know, and the young man that moved to Belize, you have to do what's in your best interest. Do you stay in the marriage and be miserable, or do you go and pursue your peace of mind because you already know that you are as far as you can go in this relationship because you all are not growing together?
I don't know. So I don't know if I would agree with that fully.
Okay.
I would, you know, as a life coach, I'm pulling for couples, right? So I'm not a life coach that won't tell you that divorce is probably what's needed right now. You know what I'm saying? But I am one that's gonna fight for the relationship. So if a man and woman come to the table and they willing to do the work, I think they can get back to the path that they need to get on to being successful and happy together. But you got to have two people fully engaged in the process. They got to understand that process is not going to be easy. They got to unpack some things. They got to get in depth. They got to stop letting these surface conversations happen. They got to go ahead and be a little ugly with each other. They got to really find out what's at the core of some of these things that you're asking for. Well, we get confused about what people, when people ask for something, there's a need I'm trying to fulfill within me. And I'm not asking you for this just to get on your nerves. And if you my partner, you need to figure out what's the need that I'm trying to fill. If you understand the need, you might be more willing to comply with the request. But we don't go in depth with our partners and find out why. You know, we get so shock value sometimes with some of the things that they ask. You know, I got friends who got men who ask for, you know, different things sometimes. And, you know, my question to them is, did you ask him why he wants that? Yeah. Or what's the need behind that? Why does he see that way? Or ask her, why do she need that? What is it? You got to go a little deep sometimes, because sometimes it ain't just a simple yes or no answer. It's something there. And the thing is, if you ignore it or you suppress it or they try to suppress it, eventually it's like a volcano. It's going to erupt at some point. And then that's when it's lying. That's when it's deceit. That's when I'm creeping. Absolutely. That's when I'm sneaking around to go get all these things that I really wanted to have in the open out in front with you. But you wasn't a safe place that I could tell this to. You judged me when I told you this. You looked at me strangely when I told you this. You made me feel ashamed when I told you this. So how can I come to you again with anything else when you didn't even handle, you know, that attempt I made to be in that safe place with you, right? I mean, I don't know what you want me to do after that. That's why people run to their holes and they hide themselves.
And I think a lot of times once you put your feelings on the table and it's looked upon as, oh, you're complaining, you're nagging. Absolutely. I think you shut down. Because, for sure. Yeah, because then you feel like, what's the point?
There is none.
Exactly.
And now you're lonely.
Now you're lonely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I think, and ask, you know, correct me if I'm wrong. Is it easier I'm just posing this to the men. Is it easier when you all say something to us and we shut it down for you to go out and cheat? Or is it, you decide not to, and well, let me try this again and see if she's more receptive. Let me try this conversation at a different time. Because in my opinion, I'm going to say, if you step out there because maybe you're missing the need or you're not getting something at home, doesn't that then complicate things? Because then you're bringing a third party in and you still haven't fixed the situation at home.
Absolutely. Oh, it will complicate things. Yeah. See, the issue, and I'm gonna keep going back to this because I want people to understand this little piece. The issue is never the question. The issue is because the foundation hadn't been laid up front. Absolutely. If you have taken care of the communication process, if your depth had already been understood with each other, if you had already established safe grounds that this is a place where you can say whatever you need to say to me, you can ask me whatever you need to ask me, and I'm gonna receive it in the manner it should be received, and we're gonna talk about it from a place of no judgment. If all that has been done up front, the question will never be an issue. And the question will always get the attention it deserves. But the fact that we don't have no depth with each other, see, we in this marriage and we just surface. Facebook look good.
Oh my
IG
God.
Look good.
Yes. Talk about it.
We had every island.
Talk about it.
We had a happy hour all the time, and we walk in the house and go separate ways.
Yeah.
I mean, it just is what it is.
Do that again, Nick. Do that again. But you're absolutely right, because you see it all the time, and then you know people that are one way on social media, but behind closed doors it's completely different. It's like you said, they sleep in separate rooms. They may not even talk.
I used to be that person.
Okay.
Wow.
I used to be that person. What they talking? I ain't got to talk about nobody else. I talk about myself.
No, but I'm saying there are people out here like that. It's like you're fronting for social media.
Oh man, had a pretty wife. 4-5 trips a year. We ain't missing an event.
See,
Always posted up on IG and Facebook.
Right,
Deleted all them pictures. As soon as we walk in the house, man, I'm going downstairs, she going upstairs.
See,
we can get through a whole week and say 5 words.
wow.
But my Facebook and Instagram was lit though.
That's right. Y'all look good.
Oh man, who you telling?
Until you close the door.
Boy, we put on clothes. We look good beside each other. You know what I mean? That's real talk.
But that's real, yeah.
And that's the issue. That's the issue. A lot of these couples got to stop being fake with themselves.
Right. Exactly.
They got to stop living in these make believe worlds that do not fulfill them.
Mm-hmm.
They are living as hostages in their own home.
Right. Absolutely.
I mean, nobody's happy. The kids can see you ain't happy.
That's another thing.
The family can see you ain't happy. You wonder why ain't nobody coming to the barbecue. Nobody want to see y'all act the fool every cookout.
Exactly.
Y'all arguing whether you want barbecue sauce or Heinz 57. I mean, what are we doing?
That turns into a big production.
Right.
And you brought up
the brother just wanted some watermelon. You got mad.
You brought up a great point about the kids, because I know a lot of couples that have stayed together for the sake of the kids, but they seem to not understand that when your kids see you constantly arguing, you're doing a lot of detriment to them emotionally. And, sometimes kids blame themselves. So it's the parents' responsibility, I think, to have a conversation with the children to make them understand that this isn't something that you did wrong. It's just your mom and I are going through some things and we need to work it out. And even in terms of arguing, can you argue can you just do it separately, like away from the kids? Because
you should.
We do more harm to children growing up in those environments because we're trying to stick it out for the kids.
Oh yeah, we do that. I love my children to death.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna stay in no dysfunctional marriage on just their behalf alone, and I know a lot of people do it.
Yeah.
That's how people always wonder how people together like 20, 30 years and then all of a sudden all the kids go off to college and one of them walk out the door.
Right.
Yeah. That's because he just been waiting on that expiration date. You know what I'm saying? I was just waiting on Junior to get out the house. Now that Junior out the house, I'm up. I'm gone.
It's on.
Yeah.
I got my track shoes.
He ain't loved her for years. you know what I'm saying? He just been holding up his responsibility.
Right.
At that point, it became a chore. It became this is my bill. It was no different than BGE, Xfinity, and none of them. It was the same. This is my bill. I'm gonna pay my bill every month. He probably been doing what he want to do for a long time.
Absolutely.
She probably stopped caring a long time ago. And the kids just, living in this make-believe world. My mom and daddy still in the same house. Yeah, but these kids gonna take what they've seen into unhealthy relationships because they ain't really seen love in action.
Right.
They ain't really seen no love flow through the home, right? They've seen people be passing ships and go through the motions.
Right.
So then they're going to go get in a relationship and they're going to go through the motions too. And I'm going to go through the motions because this is what my parents did.
What they see.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so.
No, I'm not into that foolishness.
The cycle, you have to take responsibility and break the cycle.
Absolutely.
And I shared this a lot. Growing up in a home where there was domestic violence, I knew that when I got older, that wasn't the relationship that I wanted. I don't think we have to repeat the mistakes that our parents made because we have our own lives. You take responsibility and you decide what you want. You know, as you're learning yourself, what you will and won't take. So because I seen my parents fight, that doesn't mean that's the relationship that I want. Right. And I knew that I wasn't going to have that kind of relationship. But for those that have seen it and then they go into their relationships and experience the same thing, how do you, let me use this one. Okay. What advice would you give to them in terms of breaking the cycle?
Well, one of the things you need to do, or one of the things I challenge, I give example of a couple I just worked with. I had them to unpack their luggage. I said, you're gonna automatically have luggage as a couple, right?
Of course.
There's just things naturally about both of you that you're gonna pile in a suitcase. And you know, over time you'll be able to work some of that stuff out. The suitcase will have some heavy moments, the suitcase will have some light moments. Those are just the ups and downs of relationships and marriages, right? You can work through those things. The issue is that you come into the relationship and marriage thinking I'm only working with our stuff.
Right.
But what we forgot to realize was before you showed up, you had some stuff in that suitcase already.
Absolutely.
I had some stuff in my suitcase already. And we put our stuff on top of the stuff we already had on the suitcase. And we never addressed the stuff or went through the stuff that was already. See, I didn't find out if this shirt was viable or if these pants needed to go. So if this positive, I'm gonna keep it in the relationship, right? If it's negative though, I need to get it out.
Man, you preaching, man.
No, I'm just being honest.
You keeping it real.
This is what you need to do. So you gotta and everybody knows
it's hard to empty the suitcase.
It is.
Yeah, you're right.
You got to figure out what was positive from past relationships, because even though a relationship failed, there could still be some things that you learned from that relationship that was positive that you might want to keep with you.
Wow.
But that negative stuff, I got to let go, because if I don't, I'm gonna put that negative stuff on you.
Absolutely.
And now here I am, your lover, trying to carry your suitcase, and I'm like, dang, why it's so heavy? I ain't put all this in here.
Right.
And then you mad because I can't carry the suitcase.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where I'm just tired of carrying the suitcase.
Yeah, and a lot of times we go into these relationships and we want to be fixed. You know what I mean? And
how do you fix grown people?
You can't.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
But the thing, a lot of people. Am I good? All right. Get that out of the way. Yeah. Hang on. Oh, yeah. So, you find somebody, fall in love with them. You got some hurts from the past. You got childhood traumas, and you're going into this relationship like it's the end all be all.
Okay.
He's gonna help me heal. He's gonna help me fix my problems.
Oh wow.
I don't believe that, but there are many people that do. And I always say you gotta own your mess. You can't go into that relationship looking for that person to fix you, because maybe they are a little broken too. Now you all can work together and address your issues and begin to heal, but you cannot put that kind of weight on the person, or as you mentioned, you can't expect them to carry that heavy suitcase with the idea and being able to unload.
Can we do something out the box?
We can definitely do something out the box.
Can we show up to the relationship as whole people to start? Can I do the work when I'm by myself?
You have to do the work when you're by yourself.
Can I be adult enough when I'm alone and not in a dating relationship, when I'm single, out here, watching Netflix with no chill by myself on a Friday night? Because I ain't
chill by yourself.
I mean, I'm just saying, no chill,
Netflix and ill.
And just just me and the blanket.
Myself and I.
That's it.
Exactly.
Me, my daylight soul in it. You know what I'm saying? So can I come to the relationship as a whole person, fully loving myself, fully knowing myself, fully have made love to and became intimate with me? So when you show up, I got some tips for you. I can make this journey a little easier for you.
Yes.
You ain't got to spend so time running your head into a wall, because I know me.
Yeah.
I know what I need.
Yeah.
The question is, are you it?
And do you know what you need?
And if you don't know what you need, well, I already know that you ain't it.
Exactly. Absolutely. Oh my God. You said a mouthful.
But see, we all want to do science projects with each other. Yeah. That's what we want to do. Yeah. We get with each other, and we want to be a science project. Hey man, check this out. We're gonna run a couple of hypotheses real quick and see if it works. We're gonna see if that robot come to life or if that robot blow up. We don't know what we're doing, man. It's crazy.
And relationships, I feel like, are complicated enough. But if you take the time, because what I find a lot of times in speaking with people is that when you break up from someone, some people are looking for that next relationship because they don't want to come front and center with themselves. They don't want to take the time to get to know who they are. And if you aren't willing to get to know who you are, you want somebody else to do that.
So what the next relationship gonna do for you?
Exactly.
You ain't gonna do nothing but blow that one.
And blow that one. And
I've done that too. I can help y'all. I can let me tell you how that movie ends. It ends. it ends with you by yourself. Listen, if you don't, I've tried it from every angle, people.
Yeah.
If you don't address you, it don't work.
You're gonna repeat the same cycle over and over again.
At some point, you gotta come to terms with the fact that
your mess.
I was born imperfect. I'm going through this life imperfect. And if I continue to do no work to try to get as close to perfection as possible, all I'm gonna do is get worse.
Absolutely.
And then I'm gonna take my worst self against somebody else's worst self, and we're gonna be the worst versions of each other for each other.
Right.
Which isn't gonna be anything to nobody. It doesn't contribute anything to the universe, and all we do is add to the divorce rate.
Absolutely. I think you have to be mature enough to snatch the sheets off yourself.
Oh yeah, you gotta
get naked.
You gotta
find
do more.
Me naked.
You
belly
gotta
out.
I'm
be belly out. Man, belly out.
Absolutely.
Turn yourself inside and out.
Absolutely. You absolutely got to do that.
Yeah, because if you don't, it's not fair to the next party or the party after that.
But I think it's hard for people.
It is hard, but if it was easy, then
why is it so hard for them though?
Doing it.
What's so hard about it?
Because we all are scared of the truth.
That's it.
You know, we scared of the truth.
And what? So I guess the truth is you that you're scared of, right?
Yeah.
But
you scared of the decision making. That's what I deal with, my decision making.
Okay.
You have issues as a man making decisions?
In relationships, yes.
And making decisions in what manner? Like,
as do I want to stay? Do I want to go? Am I wasting my time?
So your evaluation of the woman is tricky.
Yes.
Okay.
You see some good things.
You see a few good qualities.
You see a lot of bad, and you like, damn, the day she good, but the more she's bad.
Well, is she human?
She's human.
She's gonna have good and bad days.
Yeah.
Okay, so then you have to find out where her base. You gotta
overweight.
No, you gotta figure out what's essential
to her.
To what I'm trying to, not to her. See, you keep looking over at her.
Right.
At some point, I need you to look at you.
Wow.
So you keep watching her. See, it's easy to sit on this side and throw a judgment at the person.
Right.
Man, she do this wrong. She do that wrong.
Right. What am I doing wrong?
What am I doing wrong?
Right.
On her bad days, what am I saying to her to help turn that day around?
Oh,
have I asked her what's wrong with her?
It's deep, man.
And have I really asked her what's wrong with her?
Wow.
When she say nothing, do I put my hand on it and go, no, baby, for real?
I got you.
Talk to me.
Right.
Tell me what it really is. Do I give her my full attention? Do I put my phone down when I'm with her to let her know that she has my full attention? What do I really know her?
Wow.
I'm making a judgment and a call on her based on a few of
mess ups.
We bumped into each other a few times, right? We went to the movies. We went to main event. We went and got some crab legs or something. You know what I'm saying? We always out in public around people, but have we ever sat in a room like this with nothing but, the lights low, a little music in the background, a little wine in a glass, and have we sat close enough to each other to maybe the skin touch just a little bit? We look in each other's eyes, and I tell me what scares you most.
Yeah.
Have we done that yet? If we ain't done that, then I don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, and then that goes back to that intimacy, and I think a lot of times people keep, they view intimacy one way, and that's the physical. But there's so many layers to intimacy, and if you're in a relationship and you don't know that, how can you actually grow?
I don't think you can.
If you're not connecting with one another, because you have to connect more than the physical.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, caller, who do we have on the line?
It's your boy, Dr. Love. What's happening?
Hello, Dr. Love.
What's happening? So I'm sitting here and I'm saying to myself, man, I wish I had been there tonight, because this conversation is like right there up my alley. I enjoy talking about these conversations about relationships and different things like that. And shout out to the guests.
What's up, family?
I'm the big one on the picture.
Yeah, I was just they was talking about you when I got here. I said, leave my man alone.
Yeah.
Leave my man alone. My man.
So we talk about this all the time, and relationships is never easy to talk about. It's always, it seems like it gets complicated at times.
At times.
Number one, well, all the time.
Exactly.
Number one, you got two people, first of all, coming in. You may have one that's real, and you may not have one that's not real.
Mm-hmm.
But somebody's coming in with a representative.
Mm-hmm.
And the representative may not have a time limit. The representative may stay on for a long period of time.
Oh man.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now the situation is we are so afraid to disengage the representative because we're afraid of what that person going to think.
True.
Number one, we haven't even cleansed ourselves.
Woo!
And probably have no problem in cleansing ourselves. That's the reason why we wear our representative.
Right.
Because our representative is our armor. Our representative is the one who makes us realize who's in check. That's number one. Number two, we have become men and women have become punks in relationships.
No, you didn't call him that. No, you didn't call him that.
The reason why I say that is because you're a grown woman and you're a grown man.
Mm-hmm.
And we have now allowed social media to dictate our relationship.
Oh, absolutely we have.
If you ever go on social media, there's always somebody doing a survey. There's always somebody saying, if your man is doing this or your woman is doing this, and next thing you know, now we're taking this back into our home.
Right. She actually coming home with that conversation.
Strangers,
Exactly.
While we're allowing strangers to irritate and dictate our relationships. While we're taking somebody else's experience and try to bring into ours and not trying to figure out how we're gonna make our relationship more better. That way we can grow from it. What goes on between Sally and Tim may not work for us. But yet we don't have an open mind to realize, let's try it our way. Because either the man or the woman gets into an attitude because they feel like they want it their way.
But big dog, you know why that happens though?
Compromise. Huh?
You know how that can happen though? We ain't had no foundation. We ain't had no foundation.
Exactly.
So we trying to build our foundation up with everything on the internet. We watching celebrities and all that.
I was in a relationship where I was trying to build, and first of all, when you get two people that goes into a relationship, number one, it ain't just a man that looks at the foundation. It should be the woman too.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying? First of all, it's like when you and your wife or you and your woman goes to buy a house, you all do a walkthrough. You all do a walk around. Any cracks in the foundation, different things like that, that's the thing that you acknowledge. You see before you buy the house. No one buys the house without checking out the foundation. You understand what I'm saying? But at the same token, when you see that the foundation is getting rough and it's getting rocky, I was out there with the cement. So I'm up there trying to patch up the cracks, to keep the house stable.
Right.
And she's looking out the window. What you do is you get your ass out here, get on your knees, help me mix the cement, and let's keep the foundation going. You understand what I'm saying? But when you got one person that's concentrating on the foundation and the other person still walking around with heavy boots on, creating unstable situations where the foundation it don't have time to dry, then now you're getting into an unstable relationship where that person wants the relationship to fall.
Yeah, it's hard to put the house back together when you in it and it wasn't up to code when you moved in it. Not saying that it's impossible.
Right.
I'm just saying it puts a much greater challenge on the relationship when you walk in the house that's already unstable, already has missing parts. The plumbing ain't straight.
Right.
We trying to move everything to one room while we fix another room. We get tired of each other in that room, so we shift to another room. We trying to do all this patchwork to get this relationship in some type of function or order so that we can survive. And all you find yourself doing in the rest of that relationship is surviving.
Right.
If you just in a relationship where you're doing nothing but surviving, there's no room for love. There's no place for intimacy to grow. You don't hit no lane where you really find the true happiness, and y'all hit that cruise zone that we all talk about, where we look up, one morning and just look over each other and go, "You want some bacon, don't you?" Okay. And she be like, "I ain't even say that. I wanted some bacon.
You want this beef?
You want some bacon, don't you?"
There you go.
Let me go get you some bacon. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah.
I want to finish your sentences. I want to get to the point where I finish your sentences. And I don't think people are diving into each other to the point to where he's not making her his subject. He need to get a PhD in her, and she need to get a PhD in him.
Absolutely.
And we don't work that hard no more for it. It comes so easy in so many formats these days.
I agree. Yeah.
We got Tinder, we can swipe left, we can swipe right. We got Match.com. We don't even have to be human no more to get into a relationship.
Right.
We talk to a computer. The computer takes our information. The computer go find us somebody. The computer give us some recommendations, and we believe the computer. We don't even depend on things like pure human interaction. Right. I want to stand in front of her and she light my world.
But it's because we have all this technology, we're touching the electronic devices more than we're making the connection with our partners. And every time I go out to eat, I'm always looking around at the many couples. Talking. Yeah, and everybody's at the table holding their phones. So are we really, really building a connection with each other, or are we more in tune with our electronic devices? Because I'm going to say...
See, here's the situation. The situation is that before technology came out, we relied on one thing, and that was our heart.
Mm-hmm.
And we put our heart into, situations, and we allowed our heart to lead us. And on numerous occasions, our heart got broken.
Mm-hmm.
When technology came in, technology made every situation easy for us. Where technology said, well, you know what? You ain't got to use your heart no more. Let me show you another way. You know what I'm saying? Let me show you the internet.
But family, I don't want to be in a relationship. I just want to look like I'm in one.
Yeah, exactly. You know what
I'm saying? The time that we live in.
Yeah, I don't want to really be in a relationship. Right, I just don't want to look single to them.
Right.
I'm not really concerned with the actual work of being in this relationship. I just need not to look single, because society has made being single some terrible thing.
Right.
As if you take a little time to invest in your individuality, all of a sudden something is wrong with you or something. You know, why are you single? I'm single because I ain't married. What you mean why I'm single? Stop asking me dumb questions.
But I agree with you. I completely agree with you.
You said something. I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let y'all go. You said something. I was in a conversation about the baggage, and we talk about the baggage all the time. Now, the one thing that I've noticed is this: that if you get two true people that really wants to work on a relationship, and you let's say you put the baggage away. Now the baggage is empty.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you think it is empty. I believe at that point you should burn the baggage. Let me tell you why you should burn the baggage. You should burn the baggage because suitcases come with pockets.
Mm-hmm.
And there are times where you may forget to clean a pocket. So you know what's the last thing that a lot of people keep in that baggage? That's the reason why they don't want to throw it away. They keep that baggage, they keep that one pocket available, and that pocket is their representative. So guess what? So when they leave you, they go back into that secret pocket and pull out that representative.
But I don't
wear for the next person.
But I don't want you to burn the baggage. I don't want you to burn it though, big dog. I don't want you to burn the bag though.
No. I'm burning the bags.
Oh Lord, big. I don't want to.
The bags.
Don't burn the bag.
I'm burning the bags. Listen, you can always listen. They got bags, suitcases what you call it? The thrift store, the Salvation Army. Listen, you can go get new bags, but I don't want no bag that still got your representative hidden somewhere in there.
So this is my thing about burning the bag, and I feel what you're saying, family. I know where you're coming from, right? But I really think we need to take a walk through the bag. I need to see that, and I need you to be comfortable enough with me to see it, because that's where I really get to know you. That's where I find out. Yeah, that's where I find that. That's why I find out who it is I'm really about to love. Mm-hmm. See, you come out the house. You come out the house with the Mac on. You got the Estee Lauder on. You got the, the real, the Lapita perfume smelling all good, looking all good. You got 12 different wigs for me to choose from when you walk out the house. I see that person that you want the world to see. Mm-hmm. But I want to know the woman that don't nobody else get to see. I want her to know the man that don't nobody else get to see. When I'm in a crowded room and everybody is saying how great I am, I want her to look at them and be able to go, I know.
Right.
Because I know him better than you know him. Mm-hmm. And to the depth I know him, you will never know him. And I know he's great, not because of what he's doing in this room, but because of who he is on the inside and who he is to me and Absolutely. Who he is to our family. He was great before he walked in here. I'm just giving you a piece of him to use for the moment. Right. But you have no idea who he is and what he is, and nor should they. Mm-hmm. If you really want to be real about it.
So I have a question in the group.
Hey, Queen, you got one right there, Queen. You got one right there, I'm telling you.
All right, Dr. Love. All right, thanks for calling in.
Hey, you too, family. Absolutely.
So I have a question in the group. Henry says, if you're barely surviving, how can you have room for love?
If you barely surviving, you mean financially, Henry? I get. If you barely surviving, you can't. If you barely surviving in a relationship, there's no room for love, because everybody really got everybody got you know how you're on the airplane and they take you through the emergency exit procedures. Mm-hmm. Well, that's what's going on when you're surviving.
Yeah.
See the little oxygen mask and drop down. You reached under the seat and got your flotation device. And the reason we can't get back to love because everybody ready for the plane to crash.
Right.
And I just want to be able to take what it is I want with me when this plane crashes. So I'm not. You can't be ready to love. It's no way. That's why you can't function in that. You can't function in that place. Not healthy anyway.
Not healthy.
Right. Yeah. You can't be healthy and function in that place. Absolutely not.
And are we allowing comfort? And when I say comfort, for the sake of saying I've been in a relationship for a long time, are we allowing comfort to dictate our happiness in a sense? Because you've been in a relationship for a long time and it's messy right now, but you keep telling everybody, but I've been in a relationship for a long time. But mm-hmm. Is it a working relationship, or now are the two of you just there for comfort?
Well, some people have working relationships. Mm-hmm. Some people have what I call business relationships.
Okay.
So, sometimes, sometimes we acquire all this stuff and we just stuck together because we got all this stuff together.
Right.
We bought this 3,500, 5,000 square foot house. All our friends come over here and admire everything we have. Right. And ain't no way I'm leaving all of this to you. So I live on my half of it. You live on your half of it. We'll throw about 4 holidays together during the year where we have people to come over and we'll fake like it's all good. When the event over, you going to your boyfriend's house. I'm going to my girlfriend's house, and everybody happy. Unfortunately, that's the foolishness that some of us are doing around these streets.
Some people are living that way.
Absolutely. Some of us go to their cookouts and we eat the ribs and the potato salad.
Because that has nothing to do with us.
Ain't got nothing to do with us.
Exactly.
Yeah, and we don't get in their business. We don't do any of that.
Mm-hmm. But is it peace of mind, or do you?
Oh no, it ain't no peace of mind.
Worry about things instead of having peace of mind.
Oh no. Oh yeah, they worried about things.
Yeah.
Because we kind of materialistic too, right? Mm-hmm. So I'm trying to look like the Joneses. But the Joneses look like they got everything together. They really don't. But that's what it looks like to us, right?
On the outside.
So again, most of us are faking in our relationships and marriages. If you know it's an issue and you're not trying to do no work to take care of the issue, then you're committing suicide. Eventually, this situation gonna die.
Yeah.
If I know I'm bleeding, I know I'm bleeding out.
Mm-hmm.
I know me and you are not working.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm doing nothing about it. You not coming to counseling. I'm not going to counseling. You don't go to church with me. I don't go to church with you.
Mm-hmm.
We don't go to church together. We ain't in no Bible study. We ain't with no mentors. We ain't got no accountability partners. We ain't doing nothing but sitting here bleeding.
Right.
We just bleeding. We just sitting here bleeding.
Wow.
And nobody's doing nothing. So you are committing suicide.
Yeah.
You are waiting until the relationship effectively dies on its own, and you have an excuse to walk away. Even in that moment of the detriment of the relationship and the way that you bleed now, you're not even mature enough in that moment to say you bleed.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
And so does it come down to pride or fear of admitting to failure? Because it's even being in that state.
Mm-hmm.
If you come to terms of one of you say, okay, listen, this isn't working. What can we do? Because like you said, you're into saving marriages.
Mm-hmm.
If one person opens the door to have a discussion,
mm-hmm.
it can be worked on, but you can't continue in that state. One person can't be in denial or we're fine because it's comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Because I find a lot of times people are together because it's comfortable. Mm-hmm. They don't want to be alone. It's comfortable. It's the life that they know. It's the life a lot of times that they've seen their parents have, and they seem to have worked things out.
Prostitution is a life that they know. I won't say that they're comfortable.
I get that, but I'm just saying I know a lot of people are in situations because it's comfortable. And
I would say that they are in delusion.
Yeah, I agree, because I believe that there's nothing wrong with being uncomfortable. Uncomfortable is okay if you're working towards something, but if you're staying in the same place because it's comfortable, are you ever going to find happiness?
Absolutely not. And let me tell you something. I'd rather be uncomfortable in my truth.
Mm-hmm.
I'd rather know. Let's take back something I said earlier, right?
Mm-hmm.
I was sitting in that counselor's office, and that woman told that counselor she didn't desire to be my wife. As uncomfortable as that truth was, I'll take it.
It was the truth.
It was the truth.
Exactly.
At least I knew where she stood.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to leave that room with clear vision on what I needed to do next.
Right.
Was my feelings hurt? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Was my heart broken? Absolutely. Was my pride hit? For sure. But I wasn't lied to.
Right.
I wasn't left in a make-believe state.
Mm-hmm.
You wasn't still coming up in this house every day like it's all Gucci.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Oh, definitely.
So hurt me.
Yeah.
What Nikki Giovanni tell James Baldwin on the little clip? She said, lie to me.
Lie to me.
Lie to me.
I love that
She
clip.
said, you shuck and jive for that dude out there all week. She said, when you come up in here, lie to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I love that clip, and I play it a lot because I thought it was a great point. You go out there and you pretend for this man every day.
Yep.
But you come home and I get the ugly side of you.
I get the ugly side of you.
Exactly.
I want the truthful side of you.
Exactly.
Just give me the truth. Whatever the truth is, just give it to me.
Yeah.
I'll deal with it. I'll deal with it in my own way. I will cry. I will scream. I will get over it. Just give me the truth,
but it's
though.
Real. And that's what she's asking. Just give me the real.
Just give me the real. Absolutely.
Exactly. And I think we're not doing that a lot of times. We want to walk on eggshells, but that's it's a detriment to the relationship. Just live in your truth. Then we can build from there. If I agree to everything you say, but inside I can't stand half of the suggestions or the things that you decide to do, I'm doing a disservice to both of us.
Talk about that.
I'm not being honest, and I'm inside. I'm dying because I'm being dishonest.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you're not even being yourself.
Exactly.
And you keep that up long enough, you won't even know who you are.
Right.
You're just going through emotion that ain't even your emotion.
It's not right.
It's all fake. It's all make believe. And whether you know it or not, all you doing is damaging the relationship or what was a friendship to a point that it'll never be able to exist, even when it's done. You're gonna hate each other so much after this lie is over.
Yeah.
You won't believe how much you hate each other after this lie is over. You're going to look back at the time. You're going to look back at the arguments. You're going to look back at all this foolishness that went on. And you're going to be like, it's so much I could have been doing in life.
But you made a decision to go along with everything. So can you be mad at the other party when you created this? You decided to go along with everything instead of speaking up?
Again, y'all need to be mad at each other.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all about accountability.
Definitely.
One thing we got to stop doing is, so if I meet a woman and she telling me all the things that he only did, and when I ask the question like, okay, so what was your part in the matter?
Thank you.
And you ain't got no part in the matter, or you tell the story like you ain't got no part in the matter. Hey, it was nice to meet you, shorty. May God be with you. Be blessed.
Because that's somebody not living in their truth. They're in denial.
You still in denial about the last relationship.
Exactly.
Ain't no use us even starting one over here for you to be in denial about this one too. I'm not gonna do that with you. Nah, I'm good. I've done enough of that in my life. Yeah. If you can't be, I'm at the point if she can't be naked with me with her feelings, emotions, her dreams, her hopes, her desires, the things that scare her, the things that make her cry, the things that make her grieve. If I can't get into that side of her life, I'm not for her life.
Yeah, because she hasn't
matured to a point that she would even be able to understand or love me on the level that I'm trying to be loved.
Right, exactly. And I think there's a trust factor too, because she's not willing to open herself up.
Well, she don't know herself. How you gonna open a door you ain't got a key to?
That's true. How about that?
You gotta know yourself first. She ain't even got a key to her own door.
So just let me.
She need to call a locksmith. She don't know who she is.
Let me just give some background. So I met Dumisani on Instagram, and then we had a phone conversation.
We did,
and I remember, like, listen, let's save this for the show, because him and I we were about to get into it.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I think we was on the phone like an hour the first time we talked. Yeah,
and I'm like, oh, wait, listen, let's save this for the show, because we had so much to talk about. And I, even in that phone conversation, I felt like I could tell him anything. It was like we just connected over the phone. So I had to have him on the show.
And I sure appreciate the opportunity.
And even sitting here, it's like, it's so much knowledge being shared. But I want him to talk about his book, 40 Lessons.
Yeah, I want to know about that.
Yeah. And so where can they pick up the book?
Hey, man, you can get the book 40 Lessons at www.40lessonsthebook.com, www.40lessonsthebook.com. You can come straight to the website and I'll send it to you. Make sure you get a signed copy. It'll have my signature in it when it arrives to you. So that's the best way to get that. If you're trying to connect with me, I'm also a life coach. So if you're trying to connect with me, you can hit me on IG at 40 Lessons, or you can email me at gmail at thereal40lessons@gmail.com. If you're trying to get some services and things of that nature, I deal with individuals, I deal with couples, I deal with family. If you're trying to figure out what you're trying to do in your business, things of that nature, I can help you in a variety of different ways. We can do team building. If you got a team that need a little motivation, I can help you out with that as well. And what I'm currently doing, man, if you're just trying to see how I flow in this life coaching world, you can check us out every Monday. We drop new episodes. The 40 Lessons Podcast, the 40 Lessons Podcast. That's the 40 Lessons Podcast. You can catch us on YouTube, Spotify, and SoundCloud. Please subscribe or follow when you go onto the site. Don't just watch the episode and roll out on me. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that bell so it can alert you and let you know when we gonna be there, man. But I'm just out here, man. I'm here to help. That's kind of like my little thing, man. And my other little tag is, you say it's yours, let's go get it.
Okay.
And I'm gonna show you how to do that. So connect with your boy, man. Definitely, I put out positive things every day on at 40 Lessons. Anybody who follow the 40 Lessons page will tell you I got nothing but positive energy I'm giving to you. Everything I put on that page promotes positive energy, promotes growth. I'm trying to build you up. I've already done the fall for you. Ain't no need of both of us doing it. So just take what I'm trying to give you so that you can build, and make moves in the way that you want to make moves. I want to see you accomplish every goal and dream you got. We can do it together, man. So just holler at your boy, man. I'm here for you.
All right. So talk about 40 Lessons.
Man, people love to talk about 40 Lessons. I did sign your book.
Okay.
Absolutely. I signed your book. Your book is already signed, man.
I was thinking about that
signature.
when he was talking about it.
She was like, I hope I got a signed book.
She had a Pennsylvania Avenue book.
Right. She like, I hope I got a signed book.
Nigga, sign the book.
That
nigga.
was an Eagle Street moment. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yeah,
nigga,
man.
sign the book. No, nigga.
Man, the book is
Give us a slight preview of what you talking about in the book.
So the book is an introspective piece, right? So again, I wrote this book when the whole title, 40 Lessons. I was 40 years old when I wrote the book. I was turning 40. So basically I was looking back over the last 40 years of my life. I basically tell you my life story, and I tell it from a perspective of basically everything that was troubled with it from my perspective. I talk about my mother having me at 14. She was sexually assaulted. So I talk about that.
Wow.
So
there's a lot of truths in the book.
Oh yeah, man. The chapter, matter of fact, the chapter that I write about my children, I call that "You Deserved a Better Dad."
Oh my.
Yeah.
Stop playing, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Stop playing. Man.
And the reason I did that because they didn't get to grow up in a home where their mother and father was in the same home.
Okay.
My whole perspective on that was you deserved a better situation. You didn't deserve to grow up as weekend kids and things of that nature. Right. That's what happened eventually. But that's what I meant by the whole "you deserved a better dad."
See, I was going somewhere else with it.
Well, I mean, men can go. Every man got a story, right?
Yeah.
So you can. This was my story, right?
Right.
And I wrote it from my perspective. But I got a lot of homeboys, and we all can go a whole lot of ways with that. You deserve a better dad. But my whole point of writing that "You Deserve a Better Dad" piece was to I want my children to see me for who I am. When they grow up, when they look back, I'm not gonna die for my kids to find out something about me.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
Won't nobody tell my story.
I'ma tell it.
You won't be able to tell my children nothing about me that they don't already know. I got my kids are 21, 17, 13, and 8. My daughters are the oldest at 21 and 17. Both of my daughters have read this book. Me and my daughters have sat down and had conversations about this book. I talk about an abortion I had with a young lady I was dating in this book. So imagine sitting down with your 17-year-old, explaining to her why you made a decision about having an abortion. So see, I keep it real. I keep it 100 with my children because I'm not gonna raise you up in a fake situation. I'm not gonna raise you up in some make-believe world that your daddy is perfect. Man, for me, it ain't really all the time do what I say, not what I do. I want you to do what's right because what I did was wrong, and I'm trying to show you that with this. So that's what 40 Lesson was with me, man. I talk about my name change. I wasn't born Dumisani Solwazi. So I talk about how I came into that cultural awakening. How I decided to change my name. I changed my name on August 22nd, 2005. I dropped the slave name and became Dumisani Honduras Solwazi. A lot of people on Instagram probably like, for real, I didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? Right. Well, you should have bought the book.
But so I'm prophesize this. I think the way how you explain in this book that you could possibly do a one-man play like a monologue.
Hey man, I want you to be quiet.
You know what I'm saying?
I want you to be quiet.
See in your head.
That's all. Listen,
man, I see.
I'm on project number 3. Let me get to 4, okay? But let me get the podcast doing what I need to do right now. All right. No, so I'm in sales during the day, right? So I get a real cute check for that. But that ain't what my purpose is. Right. So when I turned 40 and dropped this book, I found my purpose. So, this life coaching that I'm into, writing, creating in a manner that brings help to people.
Mm.
To talk about, I don't mind talking about my failures if it makes sure you're a success. If you can build on something I did wrong, if it can shorten your journey or give your journey a better path, you know, put more sunny days on your relationship, put more sunny days on your career, help you to understand some things a little better. I tell every man, especially, get the book, read the book. I'm not trying to tell you what to do, but we all men, and I know our lives have been similar. I'm just trying to hold you up, Slim.
Yeah.
Just hold up a little bit so that you don't make some of these mistakes I have.
Absolutely.
So that you don't let, you know, I can, you know, I'm hoping that another woman shows herself and decides that I'm worthy enough for her, you know, but I know I've let some worthies go too.
Right.
I know I've messed over some worthies, right? So you hope that there's still a chance that you'll find that magic again. But I'm trying to catch these dudes like, listen, man, you don't need but one good one. That's all you need. You just need one good one. And if you do the research, let me back up. If you do the work on you, you come to the table with your whole self. You'll have the information because you're whole. You'll know what wholeness look like. So when you see her, you'll be able to tell if she's whole or not.
Right.
Because if you've done whole and you know what whole look like, well, game recognize game, right?
Exactly.
So I can have a conversation with you and I can know, oh, you whole.
Right.
You love you.
Yeah.
You all together. Well, then let's talk about exchanging parts of each other in an equal exchange, because we got an equal pie to cut from. So I'm going to give you a slice of me. You're going to give me a slice of me. And guess what? We still going to be whole because we ain't missing nothing.
Wow.
I want to blend our pies together to where they taste the same.
Right.
They won't know who they getting regardless of who they interact with. Oh, no.
Pecan.
No, it don't even matter.
Yes.
It won't even matter. That's what I'm trying to get to. That's what the next one got to be. We got to be whole. If she ain't whole, we ain't ready.
Right.
I got to pass because I already know what that ending look like. And I'm good on that. And if that means, if my punishment for not finding wholeness is me being by myself, well, I've had enough chances at it. I ain't mad at God about that. I can do that. But if I'm going to do it, it's going to be right. It's going to be kingdom. It's going to be queen. It's going to be, we going to be in this thing in a manner that God would smile on, or we ain't going to do it at all.
Now, you brought up being transparent with your children. I feel like as adults, we owe it to our kids to give them the ugly truth. Like I have a 31-year-old son. There is nothing he can't come and ask me, and I'm going to sugarcoat it. I'm going to say what it is. I have a 10-year-old granddaughter. And I feel like, because as a kid, you know, there was a lot of things you couldn't talk about in the household. I never wanted that relationship with my child. So I am an open book.
Oh, yeah.
You know, the good, bad, and the ugly truth. Yeah.
Oh, well, let me tell you a story based on just what you just said. So this book I wrote, right? I was at a cookout a year ago at my cousin's house up in Delaware. And they read the book. They bought the book, read the books. They wanted support. So my biological father is not my biological father. So.
But did you always know that?
I found that. So I found that out in the streets about 12.
Wow.
I was over a friend's house and somebody looked at me and said, you know, Larry ain't your daddy, right? That ain't your real daddy.
Just like out the clear blue, like.
Niggas crazy. That's all I know. That's how it happened. That's straight cake how it happened. So back up real quick. So this is family. Like, this is the lady I call mama, which was really technically my grandmother who raised me, right?
Okay.
The lady I call mama, this is her son and his wife, and this is the grandson. He walks out to the pool and he goes, Larry ain't your real daddy?
Wow.
He older than me. He 8 years older than me. How you don't know that, Slim? But those are the secrets we kept in our family.
That's true.
Wow.
Yeah.
Those are the secrets we kept in our family,
absolutely.
Right? We didn't, nobody set me down and told me how it happened. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get the story. I pieced the story together. Your birth certificate got a name on it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You figure that out because I'm waiting on a passport. I can't get my passport back. Passport office called me down to the office. They like, hey man, you put the wrong information on the application. I get down there, they like, what's your mama name? Well, my mama, I grew up with my mama. So went to see my mama every summer. I call my mama. So it's natural for me to write my mama's name. But that wasn't the name on the birth certificate, Slim.
Wow.
So, I mean, we got to stop lying.
Absolutely.
We got to stop the secrets in our family. We got to stop the secrets amongst each other. We got to figure out a way to be open and honest and true with each other so that these lies can stop happening.
Yeah.
We got to figure out safe space and how to do it properly. And we're just not good at it. We're just not good at it.
Well, you have to start. You have to decide that I don't want this for the next generation. So let's just have an open, honest dialogue with one another. Because if we don't, I always feel like the conversations that we don't have with our children will be a detriment at some point in their life.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Because they grow up with that foolishness, right?
Exactly.
So they grow up with the same secrets being kept, right? Me and my daughter sit down and talk about everything.
Yeah.
I want to know it all.
Yeah.
I don't want no secrets with you. And you ain't got none with me.
Right.
Because that's how we take care of each other. Kids are jumping off buildings because they scared to tell I'm scared to tell my daddy I'm gay.
Yeah.
That's why so they kill themselves instead of being able to walk in the room and sit down and talk to their daddy about that they gay.
Yeah.
Your daddy might go in the room and cry. His feelings might be hurt, but I'm pretty sure he gonna come out that room loving you.
Yeah.
And we're gonna figure out a way. It didn't require you to jump off no building. But kids are killing themselves because they can't feel like they can walk across the hallway in the 3,500 square foot house and talk to these parents about what they truly feeling.
And that's a great point. My granddaughter, being 10 years old, she always refers to me as her best friend. And I think the reason she refers to me as that because she knows
you're a trusting place.
You can come and talk to me about anything. Because when I think of young kids killing themselves, we are failing significantly.
Absolutely.
Because these babies feel like killing yourself is the only way out.
Absolutely.
Because we've made them feel that way.
Right, but why is that? Let's think about that. We don't handle our life issues well.
Absolutely.
So we haven't shown functionality in the family. The family is full of dysfunction.
Absolutely.
I don't want to add my dysfunction to y'all dysfunction. Mama and daddy already sideways fussing every time they walk past each other. So what am I about to do? I'm about to come in here and tell you what I'm struggling with so that I can add to the pressure, the stress, when half of the time when the divorce and the dysfunction is going on, the kid think they the problem anyway.
Exactly.
So let me just remove myself from the situation. So hopefully my death will help bring y'all back together. What kind of crazy mess is that? I can't do it without you. Where you going? I brought you here for a reason. I brought you here to outlive me. I ain't here to bury you.
Right. But if you don't allow them to have that conversation with you, you're pushing them.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta create the space for it, right? You gotta create the space for these type of conversations to be able to happen in your family. You gotta be able to create the space for these conversations to happen in your relationships. You gotta be able to talk to each other.
Yeah.
I just don't understand why that's so difficult for people. And listen, I ain't nobody I haven't always done that well.
Right.
I'm to a place now where I do it a lot better. I'm an open book. I met a young lady, about a month or so ago, and didn't want to have a conversation. Like every time I asked a question, it was, why you ask so many questions? You 44 years old. I can't ask you questions.
Right.
I'm good.
That's crazy.
I'm good.
That's crazy.
You bothered by the fact that I'm asking you questions?
She don't want to answer.
So imagine what that relationship gonna look like.
Right.
You won't talk to me when there's nothing on the line. We have no accountability to each other right now. This is the point where we hear what we need to hear and decide whether I'm gonna call you back or I'm gonna, low key delete, block that number.
Right.
So if you can't talk to me in this moment, what you gonna do when it's real and there's feelings involved and there's bills on the table and we got things going on with the kids? When you gonna do when that comes around? If you can't talk to me with no pressure, what you gonna do when the pressure is on?
Right.
So that's just where I'm at with it.
And we have to be, open enough for our kids to come to us. I had a cousin coming up who struggled with, his sexuality.
Oh, okay.
And
a lot of the kids are struggling with their sexuality these days.
Yeah, but in his particular case, a lot of family members, would bang on him to toughen him up because that's what they felt.
As if that's gonna work.
Exactly.
Right.
And it's called let's change him.
Yeah, exactly. But I saw him.
That's that old school. Put them in the baptism pool. They're gonna come up, renewed, cleansed. Listen,
it is what it is.
I love the Lord, but that ain't the way to do it.
It's not.
You know what I'm saying?
And so when you grow up that way, you begin to shut down a lot of times because you've been judged by the people you trusted the most. So it has a big impact on your life. I mean, now I feel like he's probably living his best life.
Absolutely. Because he's been around other people that made him feel comfortable with himself.
Exactly.
When your circle expands and you get around other people, and that's kind of where I'm at in my life right now. The people that's in my circle gotta be people that's comfortable with themselves.
Right.
See, any of my friends will tell you, a few of them on here on IG, I talk to them straight up and down. Whether you my homeboy, whether you my homegirl, if you out of pocket, I'm gonna tell you out of pocket.
You got to.
I hear them tell me what they want to do, and then I watch them taking steps or doing actions that ain't in line with what you said you want to do. I'm the friend that pulls your coattail and say, but that ain't what you said you wanted.
Yeah.
You keep talking about doing this, but I see you creeping this way with it. I'm going to need you to realign yourself with your goals, because that's what true friendship is.
Exactly.
That's what riders do.
Yeah,
they keep you focused on your goals. They keep you focused on the things that you say you want. Don't talk my ear off about this stuff you trying to put together, and then I see you doing some out the way stuff that ain't got nothing to do with it. No, Slim, hold up. We wasted an hour conversation on this. I'm gonna need you to stay focused on what you said you was doing.
And we have to hold each other accountable.
Absolutely, we got to hold each other accountable.
We're not doing a.
We got to stop being afraid of that word accountable.
Exactly. Don't pull that card. I want somebody to pull my card because I'm not always right, and I can be out of pocket a lot of times. So I need you to say, look here.
That's why I got women on the 40 Lesson podcast, because they pull my card and keep me in line, because I know I'm not always right. Especially that Tori, she always got something to say. You know what I'm saying? She always running her mouth about something. But listen, that's what it's about. It's about being able to not only be accountable to yourself, but be in a place where you're okay with being accountable to others as well, especially if it's people that you trust and people whose opinion you trust and people who you trust with how you feel and what your emotions are. We can't just be out here willy-nilly. Listen, you can't do this life by yourself. It's one thing to love yourself and be a whole person, but you still can't be in the world by yourself. This world requires human activity. There is some activity with the human species that's gonna go on. You gotta be able to communicate, interact with, be aligned with some other human at point. If that's not in a relationship, it's in a work life, it's in something. You're gonna have to be able to deal with someone other than yourself. That's all I'm saying.
You can't hide behind your devices.
Absolutely not.
Because you're afraid to make a connection. I mean, we're in this world together, so you gotta be connected.
Absolutely,
you have to be comfortable enough in your own skin to open yourself up to be connected to someone. That's what this intimacy thing is all about. Making a connection. I feel like we're not talking enough to one another. I feel like we're not touching each other enough. In a sense to where I know people that are afraid or are they don't like affection. They
don't like affection. They in relationship.
It makes them uncomfortable. It makes them uncomfortable.
Are they in a relationship and don't like affection?
I know a couple of people like that.
Oh.
That are and I always
So will we high five each other? What we do?
In this particular case, they
elbow?
Yeah.
That's affection.
Is it?
Absolutely. It all depends. So I'm big on this. If the two people in that relationship have agreed on the contents of what they're doing, I'm good with it. Because what may look foreign to me may be actually deep, emotional, full, ongoing, blown love to them. Okay. That fist bump might be the intimacy she needs. That little elbow that he hit her with, every time he do that, he telling her, "I got you." Okay. And she believes it because she bumps his elbow back.
Right.
So she may not be big on hugging in public, kissing in public, but as long as that intimacy can happen,
connection.
Whatever your little thing is, you know, that little wink across the room. Like I want to be with when I get me one, I want to be able to look across the room and be like, meet me in this bathroom over here, Slim.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? We're like, hey, just like I want to twitch my eye a little bit. You know what I'm saying? She be like, oh, he got the crazy eye going on. Let me get over here to this bathroom. You know what I'm saying?
Just sitting at the table with one another.
Absolutely.
Playing footsies or something like that. I think that we should not be afraid to express ourselves.
For sure.
I just feel like it's a way to solidify the connection with one another, and we can't be afraid to lay in bed and just talk to one another.
No, and listen. Let me give y'all a real good tip to do. Lay in bed naked and talk to each other.
Yeah.
If you in a relationship, you should be in a godly relationship with the Lord. If you're not, but listen, if you're gonna be in a relationship, you're gonna be out here sharing these intimate things. You really want to get a good conversation out of a person? Lay there naked with each other in the bed and pillow talk. I'm big on pillow talk.
Yeah.
I think so many things can happen with pillow talk. You and your partner laying there after an intimate moment, intense fellowship. Y'all sit there and looking at each other. There's no clothes between you. There's nothing but hopefully some moist sheets. Y'all can sit there and let your legs entangle with each other.
Yeah.
And y'all tell each other what's on your mind. Have a conversation in your most vulnerable state.
And I said that a few weeks ago. I talk about meditating naked.
Absolutely.
Because it builds such a strong connection. And even if you are upset with one another, once you come together and meditate, whatever you were in a disagreement about, it goes out the window.
Goes out the window quick.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. And you got to do that. You got to create that space for y'all oneness to come together.
Right, absolutely.
And you got to get all that fake stuff out the way.
Yeah.
All that stuff that's not real got to get out the way. And I tell, I was coaching a couple. I told him, I said, man, when y'all laying there in bed, hold her.
Yeah.
Pull her to you. Let her hear your heartbeat.
Yeah, that's everything.
And then tell her what's on your mind. Hear what's on her mind.
Yeah.
And respond to her in a way that's reassuring, in a way that's brings security to her. And imagine your words and your heartbeat being on the same beat with each other.
Right.
And all that is going into her at the same time. That was going to be better than the performance that you just
Absolutely.
had. She going to appreciate that moment more than the performance.
Absolutely.
Because it feeds her in a different way. It feeds her in a way that, actual physical activity could never feed, she can find anybody to come and do a round rod situation, but to feed that soul, to give her that intimacy that she needs, that goes in between her ribs, flows through her lungs, becomes the blood that runs through her heartbeat, that ends up being the breath that comes out her mouth. You can't fake that.
You got notes over there.
You got to know what you're doing on that. You got to know what you're doing on that.
Absolutely. We need that. We need that connection. Just to lay in bed and cuddle. It's like, that's everything.
Absolutely.
We don't even have to do anything. Just hold me.
That's it.
It
don't take much.
It don't take much.
And sometimes you can just hold her and say nothing.
Exactly.
And that moment will say everything.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
She'll take that the next day to work. It'll be on her mind.
Man, she'll float through the rest of the week. Her girlfriends be like, girl, you saw that boy looking at you? She be like, what boy?
Right, okay. You don't know what I have at
girl,
home.
that man held me last night.
Exactly, that's everything.
And then what he do? He ain't do nothing. He just held me.
Yeah. But for those that aren't getting it and they ask that question, and then what? It's nothing. You don't have to ask for anything else after that.
But you ain't. If you're still looking for it being ready, you're not ready.
Exactly.
You need to go back to school. Some more maturity you need. You still got something you gotta learn if that ain't enough for you in the moment.
That should be everything.
Yeah, sometimes, I always, I say, man, when the intimacy is right, there's really not a lot of words needed.
I agree.
Yeah, the moment takes care of itself in most cases. Yeah, it's the body speaks a language when the intimacy is in perfect harmony. It's not much you need to say or do. Sometimes you'll mess the moment up talking too much.
Yes, Lord. You say that one wrong thing.
Exactly.
Like, dang, you just messed up the moment.
Yeah, you went a word too far. You went a word too far. Like, boy, just go.
That is so true.
Boy, get your hands off me and go
with it.
Just go get me some chicken.
Okay. Yeah, you done killed the mood.
Right, go get me some Popeyes.
So I got to put my clothes on now.
Right.
And go get some dang on chicken.
Right. You come back, she gonna be asleep with pajamas on.
Okay, because
the flannel joints too.
And you still haven't figured it out.
With the drawstring to them. You know what I'm saying?
And her what's it called? And her bonnet.
And her bonnet.
Once the bonnet on, it's over.
It's a wrap.
You know about that, Nick?
No, I ain't trying to find out.
You ain't trying to find out. So when does your podcast? You said every. So
the podcast second episode dropped today.
Today.
The podcast is available every Monday. Yeah, man. The 40 Lessons podcast, the 40 Lessons podcast. Search that on YouTube. Search that on Spotify. Search that on SoundCloud. If you want an easy way to do it, you can go to my IG at 40 Lessons. Link in the bio. Click on the link. It'll take you directly to SoundCloud. You can listen to it. If you want to see a brother and see the ladies on the show that's with me, then you go to YouTube. Just hit the subscribe or follow on whatever medium you check, man. But yeah, and again, you can get the book at www.40lessonsthebook.com. That's www.40lessonsthebook.com. Make an order, man. Read up on your boy. Get this one while it's hot, because I might do something else a little later this year. So
I know something else is coming.
I'm working on a little something. I got something brewing. I love it. I think I haven't found my lane. You know what I'm saying? I think I haven't found my lane.
And when you find it, it doesn't even feel like work.
Oh no, I love this.
Yes.
Oh, I love this. Yes. Yeah. I know I get on my podcast crew nerve, because I be texting and sending stuff all the time. She hit me up one time. She's like, "What, you got bionic fingers?" I just sent the text. I'm on top of all that, because it's a passion and a joy that I enjoy the conversations. I enjoy the dialogue. I believe men and women need to dialogue more together without any, in a platonic situation. I think we learn so much by sitting here and dialogue together. This is how you build. This is how we got to help each other get better for each other. You know what I'm saying? Men got to talk to women, women got to talk to men, and we got to get ourselves prepared to be better when we're in a union together, because our families are suffering. At the end of the day, the black family is suffering. And it seems like we're the only ones that can't get along with each other. Yeah. And that's unacceptable in my eyes. So we got to figure out, far as I'm concerned, men got to become man enough. So, they got to become man enough. Yeah. That's a little teaser to what may be getting ready to come. But, I'm trying to do my part in helping those that are willing to listen, those that are willing to, do the work. I'm going to try to do my part to help them know what being man enough really is. And society has given us a very bad example of that. Yeah. And, a lot of us grew up in neighborhoods where all that was based on how many girls you had sex with and all this foolishness, how much of a playboy you could be. Man, let me tell you, I've been there, done that. All that stuff leave you is alone and bitter, and with a whole lot of women looking up at you being disappointed. Exactly. Yeah, and I'm not trying to have my daughters deal with that, and I'm not trying to raise sons that become that. So I had to figure out something else. So this has been put on my heart. This has been put on my spirit. This is what I'm doing. I'm trying to, be man enough and be available enough for other men if they want me to, and to be here for couples who really want to, reach that place where they can get to a high standard of love and intimacy within their relationship. Mm-hmm.
So what would you like your legacy to be?
What you see is what you get. I want people to be able to be like, you know what? He was country. He was loud. That's just what he is. Ain't nothing fake about him. Right. The dude just is what he is. Yeah. It's funny. I write about this in the book, man. I tell a story. I'll never forget this. I had just came into the fraternity. I'm a member of the Phi Beta Sigma Fraternity Incorporated. And I had just came into the fraternity. And we was at the JW Hotel down in Washington, D.C. at an Eastern Region Conference. And I went to the mic and said something in reference to policy or procedure we was doing in the meeting at the time. And I came to sit down beside a frat brother, and some people were sitting there before I got there. When I got back, he said, "Man, on this side of me, the dude said, you're going to be the next president of the fraternity." He said, on the other side, the dude was like, "We got to get this nigga out the fraternity." And that's my life. That's who I am. You either you a fan of Dumisani or you can't stand Dumisani.
But
there's no in between.
Yeah.
There ain't no people in the middle with me.
Mm-hmm.
They either in my corner and they giving me support, or they standing back faking like they in my corner and constantly hating like, hey, how you keep doing this? How you keep doing that? How you keep and seeing I'm the type of guy that if you get to know me, I'm one of the most giving, sharing people you'll probably ever come. I'm always talking to people about their ideas. I'm always trying to get people to expand their work. I'm always trying to help people collaborate with each other. My whole podcast is set up basically to bring other local dope people that I know doing dope stuff on the podcast and us have conversations so we can cross platform with each other, you know, and do things of that nature. Like Queen Jackie brought me on her show. Eventually, Queen Jackie had to drive down the Lord and be on my show at some point. You know, so it's just kind of, that's how it works. That's how we expand each other. But for some odd reason, our culture has an issue with that, you know. I don't know what that is. I'm just out here.
And you know, I know what it is. We all look at everybody as competition.
But we shouldn't.
I mean,
listen, can't nobody do Nick like Nick.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Can't nobody do Dumisani like Dumisani. And can't nobody do Queen Jackie like Queen Jackie. It's already you here. We ain't going to get another duplication of that. I don't understand what the competition is. So, you know, and that's just kind of where I'm at with it. So I'm just here to be blessed in the life. I try to put positivity into the universe, and I try to get that back. The manifestation that I want to see is nothing but blessing and joy that comes from the things that I try to do. I want to see purpose in the work that I put forth. I want to see prosperity in the work that I put forward. That's all I'm trying to do. I'm just out here doing me, you know, and I'm clapping for everybody doing them. You know, I don't understand what the issue is. We can all do us, and everybody can win together. It ain't got to be either or. It can be and or. You know what I'm saying? That
comes back to some people's discomfort with themselves.
You
know, because I don't have a problem. I feel like I have this platform. I have a responsibility to bring people on the show to talk about what they're doing in the community.
If you can, why not?
Well, exactly. Yeah. So, but everybody doesn't think like that. And the ultimate goal is to be able to have all of us win.
Well, you know, they don't want to do that until you somebody. Yeah. Or what they perceive to be somebody, right?
Exactly.
Right. So so
I'm somebody.
I'm sure if by some miraculous
somebody.
I am somebody. I might not have what you measure success by materialistic, but I am successful.
And that's what I tell people all the time. I tell people, I'm like, listen, stop letting other people define what success is for you. Yes. I even, I've had homegirls that I've kind of challenged on things like, you know, always argue about the money thing, right? Because they're like, well, he got to make this. Does he? If you making money and he making money, he obviously able to take care of his life.
Exactly.
You clearly taking care of your life. If y'all come together, y'all gonna go homeless?
Right.
Y'all not finna eat all of a sudden?
Yeah.
Why we watching each other's pay stubs?
But I hear that a lot, and I know it's almost time for us to wrap up. But my question is always, what are you bringing to the table?
I know, but if all you bringing to the table is your pay stub, I'm good with you, boo.
Right, and
that ain't enough for me.
Right.
Cause see, the table I got set is a little different.
Yeah.
Now my pay stub cute, but you know what it is? It's a napkin under the silverware. Because it ain't what I eat with.
Right, exactly.
It don't feed me.
Yeah.
That ain't what my desire is.
Right.
That pay stub don't do nothing but provide our resources that keep these lights on and have water flowing through these pipes. It ain't who I am. Right. And if you come into the table to measure me by what that says, then you ain't what I'm looking for anyway.
Absolutely.
Because what I got to feed you, you won't be able to find on no job site. There won't be a check they can give you. You know how I know? Because there's plenty of women that's got plenty of money coming in and they holding that pillow at night.
That's right.
And they wishing it was somebody there just to be there when they broke the door plane to say, baby, let me help you with them bags.
Absolutely.
So I know for a fact that money is not the end all be all. We cannot base it on money.
Right.
We got to come to the table again with your whole self. If we come with our whole self, I want you productive. I don't want you in the streets doing any drugs or anything like that. I don't want you doing nothing criminal. I want a person to get up every day and go out and make an honest living.
Right.
If that honest living keeps food on our table to what we have decided is the standard that we can live with, then forget what the outside world say. We good. that's gonna take care of our needs, then fine. Now let's feed each other really now.
Right.
Since we ain't worried about trivial things. Cause I find, see, all that can go away to all you people with these big 6-figure jobs. Mr. can walk in tomorrow and pull the curtain on that.
Absolutely.
You know, we can rewind back to January when there was a shutdown and everybody was sweating a little bit for a moment. All that can go away.
Right.
So when all that go away, you better have something tangible to have your relationship standing on, and it better be bigger than that pay stub that you bring home with your sick leave and your vacation on it, because that ain't gonna feed or do nothing for nobody.
Absolutely. And we're gonna end the show on that note. I have to thank Dumisani.
Oh no, thank you.
Solwazi. I'm gonna still be practicing that name.
That's all good. We're gonna get you there. Absolutely.
It's been such a great show.
No,
and
the
a
honor has
pleasure.
been all mine.
Oh my God.
I appreciate you sharing your platform.
Go for hours.
Absolutely, we could. Man, it's been a pleasure.
To be continued conversation.
Hey, anytime you want me to come up, let me know. I'll do it.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta let me. Maybe next time I bring some of the crew with me.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Because she got some. Lord, you would just have to see. Pray for Tori.
You see how much room we got.
Yeah.
So we make it happen.
Yeah, pray for Tori.
We can make it happen. But thanks again for joining us. Good night to my Facebookers, Instagrammers, and YouTubers.
Absolutely. Hey, thanks
We'll
everybody
see
for
you next
Instagram
week.
Live for rocking with me, man. Catch you.
All right. Oh, by the way, before I actually close out, next week we'll have author Tamara Charles joining us. Her book is based on her experience in a domestic violent relationship and how she was able to overcome it.
That's gonna be good.
Yeah. So good night, everybody, and thanks for joining us.
Hey, man, everybody be blessed.